Have you ever felt like life is an unrelenting storm? The plans you've carefully prepared are shattered in the blink of an eye. Expectations turn into disappointments, and nameless anxieties gnaw away at each moment of peace. You struggle in the chaotic flow of the world, trying to control everything. But the tighter you grip, the more everything slips from your hands. But what if I told you there's another way? A path that doesn't lead you away from adversity, but teaches you how to face it with calmness and resilience. That path is Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that still shines brightly in the modern world. Stoicism doesn't promise to make your life easier, but it will make you stronger. It doesn't change the world around you, but it will change the way you see the world. In just 40 minutes of this video, yes, you heard that right. In only 40 minutes, you won't just understand Stoicism, but you'll be able to apply it directly to your life. You'll learn how to control your reactions, accept what cannot be changed, and find tranquility even in the most difficult moments. Let's begin this journey with a commitment. If you're ready to explore an entirely new perspective on life, comment, "I'm ready." Let Stoicism guide you to the mental freedom you've always been searching for. Rule number 1. You can't control everything, but you can control your reactions. Think about a time when you tried to control someone or a situation to fit your needs. Did it turn out as expected? If not, what was the reason? Such experiences can offer us an important lesson about the limits of control. Certainly, we can make an impact in life, but what happens when things beyond our control affect us? Will we be swept away by these changes, or will we learn to adapt and seek peace within ourselves? In my experience, trying to control external conditions rarely works because reality is stronger than we think. Instead of straining to change everything, we can choose to accept things as they are and shift our perspective on what is happening. Perhaps you've heard the famous saying by Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." This is a powerful reminder that our emotions are not a direct result of external events, but of how we respond to those events. The truth is that we cannot control everything in life. Whether we like it or not, some things are beyond our control, from changes in the weather to unforeseen situations, and especially the actions of others. However, there is one thing we can always control: our own reactions. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and also a Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that instead of seeing difficulties as obstacles, we can view them as opportunities to cultivate patience, resilience, and wisdom. For example, when faced with an unfair or unpleasant situation, we can choose to be angry, complain, or dwell in negativity. But we can also take a different approach, accept reality, learn from it, and find ways to adapt. This shift in perspective allows us to maintain our composure, avoid unnecessary negative emotions, and make wiser decisions. Stoic philosophy does not encourage us to become indifferent or detached from the world around us. On the contrary, it teaches us to appreciate what is within our control and to let go of what is beyond it. By doing so, we can reduce stress, live more peacefully, and focus on self-improvement. Let's look at the story of Thomas, a person who was just laid off from his job. At first, hearing the news, feelings of disappointment and insecurity may rush in immediately. Thomas might feel as though the whole world is collapsing, thinking that all of his efforts so far have been in vain, and a storm of negative emotions might take over his mind. In such moments, he could feel lost, as if there is nothing left to hold on to. But it is also possible that, in that very moment, Thomas sees things differently. He could view being laid off as an opportunity to reinvent himself, explore a new career path, or pursue passions he never considered before. In fact, he might even see this change as a chance to live more fully, to chase what truly matters to him. The difference between these two attitudes is not in the event of being laid off, but in how Thomas reacts to it. He could choose to drown in negative emotions and let them control him, or he could realize that he has the power to choose how to face it and redirect his life. At that moment, Thomas realizes that instead of feeling helpless, he can actively create a new future for himself. Just one thought, one right decision, can change everything. This is the power of controlling our own reactions. We cannot control the circumstances, but we always have the power to decide how we perceive and respond to them. Every time you face a problem or challenge, you can ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is no, then why let it make you anxious and upset? Letting go of things beyond your control not only helps reduce stress, but also helps you find inner peace. The next time you feel out of control in a situation, try practicing reflective thinking. Ask yourself, am I trying to control something beyond my reach? If the answer is yes, gently acknowledge that you cannot change that situation. What's important is that instead of focusing on what you cannot change, you shift your focus to how you react. Your emotions and thoughts may be the only things you can control in any situation. We can learn a lot from Stoic philosophy about mastering our reactions. This philosophy teaches us that instead of facing life with anxiety, stress, and anger, we can choose to approach it with patience, calmness, and inner strength. Not everything in life goes according to our plans, but we can learn to accept reality and find strength in our own responses. This is a valuable lesson not only in personal life, but also in work, relationships, and any situation we face. However, have you ever thought that this may not be all? It seems there is a deeper element, another approach that can help us live more fully and face challenges even more powerfully. This is one of the next important Stoic principles, which, when understood and applied, will bring a profound change in your life. The combination of recognizing the finite nature of life and learning how to control our attitude is a key that unlocks a completely new perspective on life. Let's continue exploring how this mindset can bring a significant change in how you perceive life and face every challenge. Rule number 2. Thinking about death helps you live more fully. What if thinking about death is actually one of the most powerful ways to feel more alive and resent and seize every opportunity to live more fully? It may sound paradoxical, but accepting death could be essential to living authentically and vibrantly. Death is a topic we often avoid for obvious reasons. It comes with sorrow and the realization that our lives are fleeting. However, reflecting on death and viewing it as a natural part of life, while talking about it with our loved ones, can improve the quality of our lives, mental health, and overall happiness. We may not want to face it, but the truth is that death itself can be the strongest motivator for living a more meaningful life. Yet, thinking about death is a difficult and complex topic, filled with emotion and sometimes even anxiety about death. With every challenge we face, we are invited to seek a ray of hope, and death is no exception. So how can we transform that fear into motivation for life? The answer lies in realizing that it is death itself that drives us to live more fully and freely. The concept of memento mori in Stoic philosophy is a reminder of death, the inevitable end of everything. It is not a warning of fear, but an invitation to live more meaningfully every day. Memento mori is not something we only think about when facing loss or when on the verge of death, but a reminder each morning upon waking that everything has an end point. By accepting death as an inevitable part of life, we can make the most of every moment to live with fullness and not let trivial things overshadow the true value of life. Steve Jobs, in his famous speech at Stanford University in 2005, shared a profound perspective on death. He said, "Death is very likely the single best invention of life. It is life's change agent." This simple statement carries a deep truth that not many people can immediately grasp. Death, according to Jobs, is not just an end, but a transformative element of life, a force that pushes us to live more fully, more decisively, and more deeply. Jobs went on to say, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important." He believed that death helps eliminate the trivial, the concerns about others' judgments, and the fear of failure. When faced with death, everything becomes clearer, and we are no longer controlled by external factors. Only what truly matters remains. According to Jobs, the big decisions in life should not be driven by fear or pride, but should be guided by our core values and true goals. Death is not something to avoid, but a reminder of the brevity of time, prompting us to view life with a different, stronger, and more resolute mindset. Steve Jobs' speech is not just advice about facing death, but also a reminder of the need to free ourselves from unnecessary worries. When we know that life is limited, we will cherish every moment, not allowing ourselves to be bogged down by trivial things like pride or fear of failure. Instead of letting small matters dominate, we will live with focus and decisiveness on what truly matters. The seemingly simple but challenging question is, if today were your last day, what would you do? Every day, try asking yourself this question. When you think about death, you not only realize the limits of time, but also discover what is truly important to you. This helps you avoid getting caught up in minor concerns and not letting meaningless conflicts rob you of inner peace. Philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." These words emphasize that we, with our waste of time on unimportant things, are the cause of life seeming to pass by too quickly. We miss valuable opportunities to do meaningful things and create lasting impact. When we become aware that death is inevitable, we begin to appreciate every moment and stop letting time slip away uselessly. We often spend too much time worrying about trivial matters, engaging in superficial concerns, or indulging in unproductive habits, forgetting the value of the present moment. Instead of focusing on what truly matters, such as self-improvement, nurturing relationships, or contributing to society, we easily get caught up in the cycle of work, social media, and fleeting pleasures. Seneca advises that to avoid wasting our lives, we must actively take control of how we use our time. This means learning to say no to unnecessary distractions, prioritizing meaningful goals, and cherishing even the smallest yet valuable moments in life. Without this awareness, we risk letting our days pass by without truly living, merely existing. A meaningful life is not necessarily a long one, but one that is fully lived through worthwhile experiences. When we recognize that time is finite, we stop procrastinating, reduce wasteful moments, and begin to live with intention. Only then can we look back on our lives without regret. Let reflection on death become a tool that helps you live more fully, helping you make wiser choices and not allowing anxieties, fears, or pride to hinder significant steps in life. When you learn to face death calmly, you will feel the power of freedom, not being controlled by worries or the expectations of others, but living with purpose and fulfillment within yourself. When you face death, you not only realize the limits of life, but also see all the endless opportunities that life offers. Don't let yourself miss them. Think about death every day and view it as a source of motivation to live more fully. Are you ready to start living that way? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Rule number 3. Don't let your emotions control you. How often do your emotions take control of you? Do you control them, or do they control you? We all experience stress and emotional turmoil over time, no matter where we are in life. Emotions are an essential part of human nature, but when not controlled, they can become a tidal wave, sweeping away rationality and calmness. The greatest challenge is how to handle difficult situations in a way that not only preserves inner peace, but also achieves the best outcome for everyone involved. As we age, we often handle stressful situations better, but few can claim that every situation always results in a perfect outcome. One of the most important skills to achieve success is the ability to restrain and control our own emotions. The Stoics believe that negative emotions stem from flawed thinking. When we control our thoughts, we control our emotions. This is the key to emotional control, the ability to change our perspective, to adjust our thinking in difficult situations. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This statement serves as a powerful reminder of our power to control our emotions. No one but ourselves can make us lose our composure, and once we become aware of this, our inner strength will be unleashed. As Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This emphasizes that it is our reaction that determines our happiness and peace of mind. If we let external circumstances control us, we will always live in a state of anxiety and disappointment. But if we focus on what we can control, our own thoughts and actions, we will find true freedom. Practicing Stoic thinking does not mean completely eliminating emotions, but learning to navigate them rationally. When we train this mindset daily, we become more resilient and composed in the face of life's challenges. Stoicism teaches us that everything external, fame, money, even how others treat us, is beyond our control. Therefore, worrying too much about them only traps us in a cycle of suffering. Instead, we should focus on what we can control: how we think, how we react, and how we act. When facing difficulties, ask yourself, what can I do in this situation? What is the most important thing? These questions help us maintain clarity and avoid being swept away by negative emotions. Imagine a situation that happens in everyday life. An unexpected email pops up on your screen. The content of it completely contradicts the new plans the team had agreed on when you were together a few weeks ago. You've been working tirelessly on this project all week, putting in all your effort, but now you feel as though your work has been for nothing. A wave of anger and disappointment suddenly hits. You stare at the screen, your blood pressure rises, and an angry response starts to be typed on the keyboard. This is crazy, you think. The original plan was the best. You may not use vulgar language, but clearly your tone reflects the anger in your heart. But then a thought crosses your mind. Stop. Sleep on it. Don't send the email right now. Wait until the next day. The following morning, when you wake up, you may view things with a calmer perspective. You may still send the email, but rest assured, your tone will be different. Everything you do after a night's sleep will be less emotional and more professional. And I guarantee that this calmness will benefit you, not only in your work, but also in your relationships. There will always be stressful situations in both your business and personal life. The challenge is always asking yourself how you will handle it. When you are emotional, you may say and do things you will soon regret. Moreover, decisions made during moments of high stress are often the wrong ones. None of us is perfect. When I was young, there were more than a few times when I said and did things in highly stressful situations that I regretted. Over time, I trained myself to stay calm and think things through, and that worked. You will be most successful when you can control your emotions. Look at the example of Carl, a participant in a long-running business negotiation about the future of the company. The negotiation had been going on for almost a year, and the differences in viewpoints had become increasingly intense. The emotions of all parties had reached a high point. Eventually, a solution that seemed like a consensus was reached. However, a few hours later, one of the partners felt uneasy and wanted to withdraw. At that moment, everyone expected an immediate decision. But Carl, with his confidence and calm demeanor, chose not to rush. He realized that acting impulsively might complicate things further. Instead of acting right away, Carl decided to step back, let the emotions subside, and allow things to become clearer. He decided to sleep on it, not letting the tension cloud his ability to assess the situation wisely. The next morning, when emotions had settled, Carl returned to the negotiation with a more rational and thoughtful perspective. He could easily see that the previous solution was not optimal, and a better agreement was reached. This is a powerful example of how we should not let emotions control our actions, but rather learn to manage them and wait until things calm down. This not only helps us make better decisions, but also preserves our dignity and self-respect in any situation. Action lesson. When negative emotions arise, pause, observe, and ask yourself, will this really matter in a week, month, year? This question is the key to staying calm and controlling your emotions in any situation. When negative emotions arise, ask yourself, will this really matter in the future? Will I still remember it in a week, or even a year from now? Looking at the situation from a broader perspective helps you assess its true importance. And sometimes, you'll realize that what feels so significant right now won't matter in the long run. There will always be stressful situations in both your business and personal life. The challenge is always asking yourself how you will handle it. When you are emotional, you may say and do things you will soon regret. Moreover, decisions made during moments of high stress are often the wrong ones. None of us is perfect. When your emotions no longer control your actions, you will not only become stronger, but also wiser. And when you can control your emotions, you will realize that nothing can defeat you. You will be most successful when you control your emotions. Rule number 4, accept everything as it is. Accepting what is happening is not a natural thing for us. At least in modern society, we are trained to push away uncomfortable thoughts and events, act immediately, and fight back. We live in a world full of tools designed to control and improve everything, from technology that minimizes disruptions to instant solutions for every problem that arises. When you accept what is happening, you take the time to let things unfold naturally rather than trying to change or fight against them, even if it only occurs in your mind. Amor fati, love your fate, is a core concept in Stoic philosophy that Friedrich Nietzsche particularly emphasized. Love your fate, which is in fact your life. In a world where we can easily get caught up in negative emotions about what we cannot control, loving and accepting our fate is the key to finding peace and inner strength. Imagine a simple scenario that can easily make us feel helpless. Suppose you are a pet owner, and one day your cat or dog becomes sick. Your mind may race with all the worst-case scenarios. Does it need surgery? Could it be a terminal illness? Can you save it? But in that moment, instead of chasing after uncontrollable worries, what is important is to face the present reality with feelings of sadness, anxiety, and fear, and truly allow yourself to accept the situation. This may make you feel uncomfortable, but you cannot live with those negative emotions forever. If you accept everything as it is, you will proactively allow yourself to stop worrying about the future and simply live with your uncomfortable emotions. You might say something like, "I can't change this right now. I can't do anything but accept it and face it." And when you truly accept, rather than trying to change the circumstances, you will feel a sense of relief, ready to make the best decision you can in the current situation. Many things in life are beyond your control. Examples are everywhere: traffic, weather, a broken bathroom pipe, difficult family members, or the death of a loved one. Things you don't want or need, but can't always prevent. Not being able to control everything can make you feel sad, angry, frustrated, or anxious. These emotions are not wrong. They are natural human responses. But the bigger issue is when we let these emotions dominate us too much, allowing them to overtake our minds and lead us into ineffective actions. Sometimes, people try to regain a sense of control by attempting to make changes, even when they are unlikely to help. Once again, thinking of your cat being sick, you might start excessively worrying about all the bad scenarios that could happen. But in the end, those worries cannot change the reality. Other times, people try to regain a sense of control by ignoring what is happening and refusing to face the truth. But all of these actions only lead to more pain and suffering because we do not accept the truth of the current situation. Amor fati does not require you to stop feeling sad or in pain, but to love and embrace these emotions, for they are an inseparable part of your journey. There is a true story about Viktor Frankl, an Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust. During his years in the concentration camps, he witnessed immense suffering and loss. However, instead of reacting with resistance or hatred, he applied the principle of amor fati, loving his fate. This wasn't a passive acceptance, but an active choice to adopt a positive attitude toward whatever happened in his life, even if it involved pain and hardship. In his book Man's Search for Meaning, he shares that although he couldn't change his circumstances, he could choose his attitude toward them. He chose to love and accept everything, turning them into opportunities to find meaning and purpose in life, even in the worst of conditions. This isn't just a philosophy of life, but a profound practice of controlling one's emotions and reactions when facing unavoidable difficulties. Viktor Frankl's story is a clear example that loving and accepting fate doesn't just help us overcome suffering, but also transforms it into a source of strength and a deeper understanding of life. He found meaning in his own pain and helped us realize that, no matter how bad things get, we always have the ability to choose how we respond and find meaning in every circumstance. Accepting everything as it is does not mean giving up hope or failing to take action. On the contrary, it is the acknowledgement that there are things beyond our control. When you truly accept the things that cannot be changed, you will no longer be trapped in negative emotions, but will be able to perceive and act more wisely. When you love and accept challenges, you no longer fear them, but can transform them into opportunities for growth and maturity. Finally, let this question echo in your mind. Can you love your fate? Do you have the courage to face life as it is, accept everything, whether good or bad, and find peace in that very acceptance? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and together, let's explore the power of amor fati in everyday life. Rule number 5, the value of simplicity and minimalism in thinking. Minimalism is not just a lifestyle, but a philosophy that helps you clear the clutter from your life, allowing you to focus on what truly matters and holds real value. Clutter can appear in any aspect of life, from physical space to the mind, from daily habits to the way we make decisions. Minimalism is the key to cleaning away the invisible dust, helping you see more clearly the path you want to follow and what is necessary to achieve that goal. In a world that is increasingly chaotic and full of temptations, maintaining a simple life can help our souls find peace and inner strength. For this reason, the Stoic philosophy has emphasized the importance of simplicity in life as a path to freedom and tranquility. One of the core principles of Stoicism is that the simpler life is, the lighter the mind becomes. Simplicity not only helps reduce stress, but also helps us realize that we truly don't need much to feel happy and fulfilled. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This statement serves as a profound reminder not to let desires and material things control our lives. We can find happiness in serenity and minimalism rather than chasing fame, wealth, and vanity. In fact, the greatest wealth may not be the material possessions we own, but the ability to control our desires and the freedom they bring. What is this freedom? It is the freedom from being driven by the constant craving for external things. You don't need to have everything to feel complete and strong. You only need what is truly necessary, those things that can help you grow and live a meaningful life. Simplifying life is a way to cut out mental burdens and reduce frustration and exhaustion, so you can focus on what really matters: genuine relationships, activities that bring joy, and inner development. A notable example of living a minimalist yet fulfilling life is Warren Buffett, one of the richest billionaires in the world. Despite owning billions of dollars, Warren Buffett still lives in a modest home in Omaha, Nebraska, where he has lived for over 60 years. Buffett does not chase after frivolous things, does not own expensive assets, nor does he live a lavish lifestyle. He has chosen a simple life, dedicating most of his time to the work he loves and the people who matter to him. What is remarkable is that Buffett has always remained committed to his way of living, even though his wealth could lead many people to seek fame and luxury. He does not feel the need to change his lifestyle to meet societal expectations. His lifestyle has inspired many, reminding us that true wealth is not measured by what we own, but by what we consider truly important in life. His way of living shows an important truth. It's not about how many assets you have, but how much you need to feel content. Letting go of unnecessary things not only helps save time and money, but also brings a peaceful life, undisturbed by external distractions. In a world full of temptations and luxurious possessions, the simplicity that Warren Buffett has chosen becomes a valuable lesson in true contentment and happiness. To apply these principles in life, an important lesson we can all learn from Stoicism is to ask ourselves before every consumer decision or choice in life, is this really necessary? This is not a question to assess the value of an item or an experience, but rather a question to check your motives and clarity of mind. When you make it a habit to ask yourself this, you begin to recognize what truly matters, and from there, you can separate the trivial things, the distractions, from your bigger life goals. When you apply this principle, you'll notice that material decisions become easier because you're no longer influenced by temporary temptations. You won't feel pressured to own everything like those around you, and instead, you will find peace in owning things that truly matter to you. Your life will become clearer, as you're no longer stuck in the chaos of endless desires. You'll experience a sense of lightness in every decision because you have cleared not only your living space, but also your mind. In reality, minimalism is not just a lifestyle choice, but a conscious and self-controlled way of living. It is about reducing distractions and refocusing on the values and goals that truly matter. When you clear away the unnecessary things in your life, you will find that what remains are the most precious things. This applies not only to material possessions, but also to relationships, work, and the time you dedicate to yourself. A minimalist life, with carefully considered choices, helps you maintain calm and freedom in a world full of change. On this journey, each of us can learn from Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, and even modern figures like Warren Buffett. They are all examples of living simply but fully. They are not just successful in their respective fields, but also know how to maintain serenity of mind, not being caught up in superficial things. More importantly, they are those who have learned how to maintain a life of freedom and meaning, not through material wealth, but through the ability to control desires and make selective choices in life. So, are you ready to declutter your life? Start with small but significant decisions. Is this really necessary? When you answer this question honestly, you will realize that life can become simple, yet still full and complete. Cleaning up your life is not just about getting rid of unnecessary things. It is also a journey to rediscover balance and inner peace. When you start simplifying, you will realize that not only does your living space become tidier, but your mind also feels lighter. Take a look at your room. How many items have you not used for months or even years? How many things do you keep just because you feel reluctant to let go, even though they no longer hold any value for you? Don't hesitate to let them go. What remains will be the things that truly matter, helping you live more comfortably. Beyond material possessions, you should also reorganize your schedule, relationships, and thoughts. Don't waste time on meaningless conversations, toxic relationships, or exhausting tasks that bring you no joy. Instead, dedicate your time to more meaningful things, your family, true friends, passions, and personal growth. By reducing the unnecessary, you create space for better things. When you live simply, you don't just have fewer possessions. You also gain more time, energy, and freedom to enjoy life in the way you truly desire. In the past 40 minutes, we've explored the 5 core principles of Stoicism, a philosophy that can completely transform the way you perceive life. We've learned how to control our reactions instead of trying to control the world, Accept death as a part of life to live more fully. Not let emotions control us. Love our fate even when it's harsh, and find the value of simplicity in thinking. But philosophy doesn't just exist in thought. It must be practiced every day. Start by keeping a Stoic journal, asking important questions like, can I control this? And take time for meditation and reflective thinking to strengthen your mind. Remember, Stoicism is not just an ideology, it's a way of life. Once applied, it will give you an entirely new perspective, making you stronger in the face of life's challenges. Now it's your turn. Which Stoic rule impressed you the most? What will you apply today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share it to spread Stoic thinking to more people, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Click on the video next to continue your journey of exploring Stoicism right now. See you in the next video.